In this video, we're going to talk about the streaming brutality that they're streaming right now. As we left off in Rat City issue number 8, Quinlan decided to stream the brutal showdown between the Deviant and PTS and Victoria, which looks a little bit like she spawned from the Spawn series, from the Scorch series, but let's get into that. This is a comic book review of Rat City, issue number 9, brought to you by RatedComics. Let's get to it. So previously in Rat City, a showdown ensues as PTS forces led by Victoria close in on the Deviant. Meanwhile, Quinlan makes moves to broadcast the brutality for the whole world to see. But before we go there, we gotta go back to Colombia 2097, where Peter K. is in the confession booth confessing his sins because he's going through a little post-war trauma right now where all these killings, he's asking, look, if I kill in self-defense, is it really murder? Forgive me, Father, for I sinned. And the pastor's like, oh my God, don't tell me that. He's speaking to him in Spanish, and Peter's like, look, man, my Spanish is horrible, but you know what? Killing in war isn't murder. Is that right, Father? And outside, Reese and another guy is just like, man, who believes in God? And Reese is like, look, man, obviously some people do. So the other guy is like, we're wasting our time, Reese. We should leave the Yankee. We don't leave anyone behind, Becker, says Reese. Besides, some of us need something to believe in. A little bit of hope, a little bit of faith goes a long way, right? So now the commander comes in, exercising his authority, showing everyone who is alpha around here. He was like, hey, I thought you were supposed to secure the perimeter out there. Wait, where's Trooper K-Yarn? He's up in there. And Becker's like, yeah, he's with the enemy. What? And you can see like the animated cigar in his mouth is like talking, and the cigar still somehow maintains in that mouth. I didn't ask you, Corporal Becker. I asked Lieutenant Reese. Trooper, get your ass out there right freaking now. And he's just going off, and K-Yarn's like, okay, forgive me, Father, for having sin, but I gotta go out there. And he thanks the Father for doing what he did. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I believe it has something to tie in at the end of this issue. So the commander's like, hey, we ain't got no time for no superstitious BS, and this goes for all of you. And look, I'm a Christian, I don't believe it's superstitious, but that's just me. But anyways, we'll get right back into the content. So commander's like, move, let's do it. And keep a good eye on that face because I have a feeling what it ties to. You'll see what I mean when we conclude this issue. So Reese asks K-Yarn, are you feeling a little bit better? And K-Yarn is like, a little bit, but let's go, let's do this thing, let's do this mission. But the commander decides to point his gun, shoots, and hits the Father in the confession booth. So now we go to U-Storage storage facility in Rat City. Reese said that when you're a soldier, your conscience has to catch up with you with the reality of the mission. Peter always had a hard time with that as he's going to work on these PTS fools. But the Deviant, also known as Futuristic Hellspawn or Spawn 2099 that I like to call it, has no problem with it. So Victoria can't believe what she's seeing. The news people in the van are like, we can't believe we're broadcasting this because Quinlan hacked into the lens of Victoria, and the broadcast people are like, we need to get our drones out there. And not to mention the people in the lab at the PTS headquarters are like, oh my God, we are so amused at the turn of events. But they don't know how the chairman's gonna get out of all this bad publicity. So now we start the monologue with Quinlan. And Quinlan thought if the world saw what PTS wanted to do to us, that they'd back off. And the chairman is just watching away in Basel, Switzerland. But all it did, according to Quinlan, was vilify Peter and me. And the reason why I had a comment in the comment section say, why do you keep calling Quinlan Quinlan? Because the character is, its pronouns are they or them. Quinlan, the character, doesn't identify as binary. Just for the sake of the story, we're gonna go with that. So Victoria's like, man, get us out of here. We gotta go. This is way too much. And call the chairman. So Victoria is calling the chairman, but the chairman is not responding. And so now they need to know what they're gonna do because the chairman's not responding. What do they do from here? So Victoria gives the order to fall back and get the heck up out of there. Too much destruction going on. And the news people are like, hey, you know, we need to get some of this footage here. I mean, right now, Quinlan's interrupted the signal so they can't get the footage, and this is too amazing to feed, and they need to get that footage because in her opinion, the girl right there, she feels with that kind of footage, she'll get a Pulitzer Prize. So they want to send out the drone, and they send out the drone to get more of that footage. And Quinlan's like, I knew I had to sever the connection between Victoria's lenses and the news feed, but Quinlan was too late. The audience was already getting what it wanted through the drone feed. And what could I have done, said Quinlan? Nothing. Peter K-Yarns, aka Spawn 2099, is going to work, going to town on these brothers, you know, wiping asses with them. And Quinlan's like, you know, you see stuff like this, all this gore and blood in the movie screens, and it doesn't do any justice because in real life, this envelops your senses. The blood in your air settles on your tongue, and the taste of metal burns through your throat. I finally felt like how I really knew what Reese and Peter had gone through all those years. This was a war zone. And the news broadcast was like, oh man, Quinlan is out. Put them on the screen. Facial match confirms that it is in fact Quinlan and Peter up underneath that Deviant Hellspawn suit. So in Connecticut, Peter's parents are like, we can't believe this is Peter. And his dad's like, nope, I don't want to believe it. And in Washington, D.C., they're like, hey, isn't that cue ball? Yep, that's where the mofo went. So it's all out there. Their business is all out there for the world to see. So despite the order that all units need to retreat, all units retreat, this driver's like, nah, I'm not retreating nothing. This demon is going down. Never surrender. And he drives this tank of a vehicle into the Hellspawn. But the thing about Hellspawns or the K7 Letha suit or this kind of symbiote suit, it can increase its density, making it heavier, making it immovable, where I ain't moving, but your car is gonna get messed up and you better call Geico or something like that, or whatever they have in Geico in 2097 or something like that. So impacts, but not for the Hellspawn, but for the car. So the Deviant takes the driver out and is about to do some more work and become more brutal for the whole world to see. And Quinlan tries to stop Peter from doing the act, but the thing with the Hellspawn suit is it defends itself and tells Quinlan to get out the way. This is my thing to do. I'm gonna do this deed whether you like it or not. So meanwhile, the chairman's watching from Switzerland and he gets a call from Victoria. The phone keeps ringing and he just ghosts her. Turns off the TV, goes to his little memorial thing or whatever, and the chairman's like, I was a fool to think Victoria and her ilk could handle this. I was hoping it would never come to this. He opens up the holy pantry. You see the cross on his forehead right there, Heavenly Father, and this ties back to the beginning of the issue right there. Forgive me for I have sinned. I failed to kill the Hellspawn. And I don't know if that is the commander from the beginning of this issue. I could have swore that the chairman was possibly Jason went into the future, but maybe that theory is still out there, but who knows. But does this have a little resemblance to the commander in the beginning of the issue? We don't know, but we got to see how this all unfolds. But that's how the big reveal goes down, and that's how the sausage is kind of made. I just watched a little bit of Mike Florio in the morning, so I kind of like that term. But there's anyway, some sausage. Ugh, forget that I said that. Costco hot dog sounds good right about now. But with all that being said, what you guys think of this comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, link in description if you wish to buy this comic book and or any of our other limited print rated comic exclusives to add to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. Lastly, this video is sponsored by coffee, so if you'd like to buy a boy a cup of coffee, link in description or donate to the super thanks. But the greatest compliment you guys can do is by liking this video and subscribing to Rated Comics YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.